Hey folks, Mav's Dad here with another watch review. I'm really excited today because I have a watch that hasn't been officially released here yet in the United States. This is the Citizen Promaster Diver BN0150-61E. This is the all stainless steel version. Now there is a version available that has a blue face and a blue polyurethane strap, and that's model BN0151-09L. Now there's also kind of the holy grail version of this, and that's for the Japanese domestic market, and that's BN0156-56E. That's only available on different watch sites such as Saya Japan and some of these other Japanese only websites. It's going to cost you about $100 more for this Japanese version, and the only difference is that it says made in Japan on the back, on the case back, as well as Japanese movement on the dial right below the 6 index. To me, it's not really worth an extra $100, but for some people, they like, the Japanese versions of these watches, and they're willing to pay a little bit extra. To me, it's just not worth it. These are all extremely well-made versions, whether they're made in Malaysia or Japan, and to me, spending an extra $100 is just not worth it. But, if you want that one, go to Saya Japan. I think he has it for about $345. There's also a black polyurethane version of this with a black face. And what I'll do is I'll put all the links to all the different versions and models in the description field, and as well as the prices too. This one ran me about $200, and I got this from Duty Free Island. Really, really pleased with the service. It took a little bit longer than I thought because it came directly from Hong Kong, but what do you expect? It's coming from Hong Kong. So anyway, all right, I'm not going to bore you anymore with the model numbers and versions and all that stuff. Let's take a look at this thing. Nice Citizen watch box. This watch almost has this box almost has like a canvas feel to it. Really nice, sturdy watch box. So there you go. And there you go, there's the watch. Now, I did a little bit of a pre-unboxing here. It had a lot of plastic and stuff on it, as well as all the different manuals and warranty cards. So here you're looking at the, obviously the instruction manual written in multiple different languages. The Citizen International Guarantee, this is your guarantee and your warranty card. And this is a little something that came from Duty Free Island. Basically just their returns and exchanges paperwork. So there you go. And here's the hang tag that came with the watch. There you go. As you can see, it's a BN0150-61E, and there's the caliber number E168. That's the Eco Drive movement that's in the watch. So there you go. Let's take a look at this thing. And what I'll do on the left-hand side of the screen, I'll go ahead and put all the specs for you to take a look at this thing. You're looking at a 44mm case. You've got a 20mm bracelet. It's 12mm thick. You have a mineral crystal. Again, you're not going to get a sapphire in a watch in this price range. It's waterproof to 200 meters, which is 660 feet. You have a unidirectional bezel. Now, I have to say, this has got to be the tightest bezel I have ever encountered on a watch. I've encountered a couple pretty tight ones, but there's absolutely no play in this thing. I mean, it is very precision made. And if you notice, it lines up perfectly with the 12 o'clock index, which is one of my pet peeves for a watch that doesn't do that. This one does it perfectly. And if you notice the tolerances between the case and the bezel, I mean, it's just incredible. This watch is very, very well made. Very well made watch. All right. Now you're also looking at a screw-in crown with a logo. Any decent dive watch is going to have a screw-in crown. And you have a date window at 4 o'clock, which is a little bit small for my taste. Unless you're in direct sunlight, that date is going to be a little bit hard to read. Not a big deal, but I wish they could make the date window a little higher up to the surface of the watch face, so you can see. If you notice right here, if you have any sort of shadow, it's going to put a little bit of a shadow on the date window. Again, in direct sunlight, you're going to be fine. But with any sort of shadow in the room, it might be a little bit hard to read. Not a big deal. Again, like I said, this is the E168 Eco Drive Quartz movement. You're going to last about 6 months on a charge. Any sort of light is going to recharge this. The best light and the fastest way to recharge it is outdoors on a sunny day. Outdoors on a sunny day for about 10 minutes will charge this up to its 6-month capacity. Another thing is you can't overcharge this watch. It has basically an overcharge protection, so you're not going to ruin the cell inside. And also when it has a low charge, that second hand will jump. Instead of doing a 1 second interval, it'll do 2 second intervals to let you know that the battery is low. When it starts doing that 2 second jump, you know you have about 4 days before the watch totally dies. Now this also has a quick start feature, so say you had to store this away for whatever reason, and you stored it in total darkness. Once it's exposed to light for even just a couple seconds, it'll start right back up again with the correct time, which is really cool. It's like it has a time memory in there, and it starts right back up, which is really cool, really nice. You also have, like I said, the overcharge feature, which is really cool, and you don't have to worry about that. And let's talk about the face of the watch. You're looking at some raised indexes with a very nice kind of light blue, kind of bluish green luminous paint. Now this is not Super Luminova, this is not Seiko's LumiBrite. It doesn't glow as brightly as any Seiko's, any like Seiko Monster or anything like that, but it does have a nice glow to it, but it's just not super bright. Now the indexes are actually filled in obviously, and they have a chrome bezel around each one, which gives a nice depth to the face of the watch. The chapter ring is basically just the minute markers going all the way around. You obviously have an hour hand and an orange minute hand. This is for the dive function of the watch, so you know how long you've been down, and that's obviously what the bezel is for as well, because this is a legitimate ISO certified dive watch. This is the real deal. So again, you're also looking at Eco Drive underneath, right where that minute hand is. You see what says Eco Drive Divers 200 meter. So really nice. Bezel has a really nice feel to it. Really nice printed bezel. And again, the tolerances on this thing are incredible. I've never seen a bezel that tight on the actual watch case. Really, really well made. Very impressed with it. And it feels wonderful on the wrist. And I'll show you a wrist shot here in just a second. Really, really good. Actually, let me see if I can get a lume shot for you real quick. Give me just a second. Let me hold it up to the studio light for just a second. And then I'll turn the studio light off, and hopefully you'll get an idea of the lume here. Take a look. There you go. Not too bad. Now if you notice that the indexes have a kind of bluish green, like teal lume to them, and the 12 o'clock index, that little 12 o'clock green pip, is green. So it's just to let you know the difference between the bezel and the watch face. So nice lume. Again, it's not going to be as bright or last as long as a Seiko, like one of the Seiko Monsters, but I mean, it does the job. I actually kind of like that bluish tint better so far as the color goes. I like the fact that the Seikos last longer and they glow longer, but I like that kind of bluish tint, really nice. So there you go. Let's turn the light back on here. There we go. All right, so now let's talk about some other facets of the watch. You have a screw down case back, and it's got all the basic Seiko, I'm sorry, not Seiko, Citizen specifications on the back. Now one of the coolest things, and one of the things that really, really drew me to this watch, was the bracelet. Now this bracelet to me feels like it ought to be on like a finer Swiss watch, like an Omega or a Tag or Rolex or 3 million other of the fine Swiss watches that I can't afford. But anyway, let's take a look at this thing. All right, now you obviously have a clasp, a signed clasp. Okay, and then you have the button, push button open. And if you notice, this is kind of reminiscent of a finer watch. It doesn't have that cheap kind of tinny feel where that one, I guess, arm is all stainless steel and one solid thin piece. This looks like the bracelet off of an Omega to me. And you can see where it says right here, Citizen stainless steel, right there. Really, really nice. Now here's the kicker with this. It has the micro adjustments and the dive extension built in to the watch. Watch this. Take this, squeeze these two arms, and there you go. I just rinsed it off with a little bit of water right there. There you go. That is your micro adjustment and your dive extension built into one mechanism. You can make it smaller by accident, so it would tighten on your wrist. If you bumped into something or something happened, it would get tighter, but you can't accidentally loosen the watch. You'd have to press these down to undo it. Let me open it up and show you. There you go. You'll see that little ratcheting mechanism right there, right where my finger's pointing, right there. I mean, to have this feature on a, you know, a $200 Japanese dive watch is really, really cool. And this thing fits me like a glove right out of the box. And I'm a big guy. I actually don't know my wrist size. I think it's like an 8.5, I think. But this thing fit me right out of the box. Really, really love this bracelet. That is really, really cool. So you just push it tight. Boom, there you go. Really, really nice feature on a modestly priced watch. Very, very impressed. This is also anti-magnetic too, by the way. I forgot to tell you about that. It's anti-magnetic. So I'm trying to think of anything else that I might have forgotten. That's pretty much it. Actually, I'm sorry. Let me put it on the wrist for you. All right. Really good wrist presence. 44mm case is a really sweet spot for case sizes. I mean, it just looks really cool. Very, very, extremely comfortable. I don't know what they've done to the metal or the way they designed the bracelet or what they've done, but it's not as light as as one of those titanium watches, but it's just like the perfect amount of weight. I can't really describe it. I really love this. I'm just falling in love with this watch while I'm making this review. Really, really love this thing, man. Very well made. And I love this micro adjustment slash diver's extension built in right here. That is really, really cool. All right, folks, well, that's about it. I'm trying to think of anything else I might have forgotten. I think I covered everything. So if you like this review, please click on like. If you want to subscribe to my channel, please do so. I've got a lot of new subscribers. I really, really appreciate it. I'm really trying to grow my channel, and it's working. So I'll put a little reminder in the little right-hand corner for you to subscribe and like this video. And if you have any questions, please feel free to put those in the comments section. I'll try to answer those as fast as I can. And go out there and check all the different, model versions of this watch. It's brand new. Like I said, this is actually the international release version. This one, the all stainless. And the other one is here in the United States. And of course, the Japan domestic market version is a little bit harder to get a hold of. It sells out really quickly, and it's about I've seen it for like $150 more. And this is the exact same watch, except for I'm sure it's probably made in Malaysia instead of Japan. Same quality standard, same everything, but it's just not actually made in Japan. So there you go. One more thing about the bracelet. The bracelet has really nice, it looks like there's really only a few really highly polished surfaces, which is right here on the bezel. Most of this is kind of like a matte finish, like a satin brushed finish, which I really like. So I could talk about this watch all day. Anyway, folks, that's it. Again, this has been the Citizen Promaster Diver BN0150-61E. And until the next video, I will see y'all later. Take care. Bye-bye.